Robbie Lyle from Arsenal TV. I'm hoping you can hear us. Very good morning. Martin Odegaard has been confirmed. What do you make of that one?
Very happy, very happy. I think that when he was at Arsenal on loan, he was very, very good. Really impressed with him. He's a very creative player, which is something that Arsenal really been lacking. You could see in the game last week against Brentford, you know, we really lacked creativity. He's only 22. He's a captain of Norway already. And I think a very, very good midfield player, you know, and, you know, I think for £30 million, I think it represents a really, really good signing. So I think a very positive signing by Arsenal.
I just want to ask, actually, Robbie, about the business over the course of the summer. I mentioned who else had come in alongside Martin Odegaard then. Are you sort of encouraged by the direction of travel of the club in terms of their recruitment, young players with plenty to give over a longer period of time than perhaps we've seen with Arsenal signings in years gone by?
Yeah, I'm encouraged by the fact that the profile of the signings that Arsenal are making. You know, we saw last season, you know, some of the signing of Willian, you know, really baffled me, you know, because I was like, you know, guy coming in on big wages. It just didn't make no sense to me. Whereas the signings that Arsenal have made this summer make a lot more sense to me. And you can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to buy players that, you know, are going to be there for the future and will come in and will be driven, will be hungry and will improve the team. And this is a team really that needs a lot of improving, let's be real. So I'm really, really encouraged by the signings. I still think, even though we spent a lot of money, I still think there's some areas that need to be addressed. And of course, we've still got a lot of players that we need to move on from the team as well. So it's been that much of a mess over the past couple of years, transfer-wise. There's a lot to fix. But I do think signings like Martin Odegaard, for me, is a very, very positive signing. I know there'll be some fans who'll be like, oh, well, they're not super excited because he was here already. But for me, it represents £30 million for Martin Odegaard. I think that's a very, very good signing. And I think he's going to be a very, very good player for Arsenal.
What about around £30 million for Aaron Ramsdale? There's been a little bit of kind of scepticism about just how good he is. Are you pleased to see him? And will he give Bernd Leno a run for his money, do you feel?
I think if it's £30 million, I did feel we've really overpaid for Aaron Ramsdale. You know, I was a bit surprised that we went all in for him. I was told it was around about £24 million, but I was a bit surprised that at first we were talking like £35 million for Aaron Ramsdale. I haven't seen enough of him. I've just seen, you know, bits of him. And obviously he's been relegated twice for Bournemouth and Sheffield United. So every time I see those bits, they've never been very encouraging because he's been the goalkeeper of a team that have been conceding loads and loads of goals. So, but I guess the fact that he broke into the England squad for the Euros, he must be a decent goalkeeper. He must be good. And we definitely needed a backup keeper because our backup keepers are not ready. And we need somebody who's going to give competition to Leno. So if it's around about £24 million, then I look on it and say English goalkeeper, a guy that's really, really driven. I've been told that he's an Arsenal fan. Then it's a very positive signing. If it's over 30 million, I'm like, oh, that's too much. But again, we needed a goalkeeper. We needed a backup goalkeeper. Ever since Emi Martinez left, again, it's been an area we struggled in. So for me, positive again.
Robbie, you've spoken very positively about the recruitment over the course of the summer. You said recruitment in the past has been a bit of a mess. The word mess, was that a word you'd used to describe last Friday night?
There's worse words.
Please don't say them at 8:09. Thank you very much.
Don't worry, I won't say them. I won't say them, but there are worse words for that. That was a horror show. It was really, really bad. I was at the game. And whilst I've got to say there was a lot of mitigating circumstances, we now know that, which I couldn't understand why Arsenal didn't just say at the time, but we now know that, you know, both Lacazette and Aubameyang had COVID, so they couldn't play. You know, there was Balogun playing up front. It was his first ever game for Arsenal. You know, guys like Martinelli just literally came back from the Olympics, hasn't had no pre-season, straight into the team. We were missing so many players. Thomas Partey, key players, However, what really disappointed me on the night was the performance. There didn't seem to be any cohesion in the team. We were passive. It was so poor for the first game of the season. And so it was really, really disappointing. And I think what every Arsenal fan wants to start seeing now with the team is a pattern of play, a style. I'm not sure at the moment what our style is. And I've always known what our style has been over the years. But at the moment, if you said to me, what style do Arsenal play? I don't know. It's just all I can say is we play out from the back very poorly. That's all I can say at the moment for our style. We've got to be more creative. We've got to get the ball forward to the players up front, because we do have some very good players up front that can hurt teams in Saka, Smith Rowe, Pepe, Aubameyang if he's fit for Sunday. So last week was really, really poor.
Sorry,
I was going
Gail.
to say, Aubameyang, I mean, he needs a good season, doesn't he? He signed that contract extension last year. We were talking to David Ornstein before. He said you can win things with kids, you can perform well in the Premier League with kids, but you need your senior players to step up. And do you feel that he and some of those other senior players need to do that?
I think Aubameyang, is such an important player for Arsenal. We really got to get him back on form. And even though I was really, really disappointed with his performances last season, I felt it really hard to criticise him, because the previous 2 seasons he's carried us with his goals. So we need to get him back on form. I think again, when I really look on the Aubameyang situation last year, I hear people saying things like, oh, well, he got his big signing, now he's just switched off. No, I feel that we have to remember he had a bereavement in his family. He got malaria. I think he just had a really, really bad season. But I just feel there was factors there that all led to that. And I think we could see a guy that could really bounce back this season. And for us to do well, it's very important that he does. He didn't have a great pre-season. Missed quite a lot of chances, but he was getting in the positions. And I feel that if we can get him back playing really well, he gets that smile back on his face again, he's vitally important, because on his day, he's one of the best strikers around. He really is. He's clinical. His goal-scoring record for Arsenal, apart from last season, has been absolutely brilliant, and throughout his career, actually. So he's such a vital player for Arsenal. We've really got to get him firing. And, if we can get him firing with the youngsters that we've got some great youngsters, we can start pushing back up that table. And I think what I want to see, and what I think the majority of Arsenal fans want to see, they want to see that team exciting us again. That's been one of the real downers last season. And again, we saw it last week, is that we haven't been excited watching our team. And I can't understand it, because there's a lot of very exciting players in that team. We know we're not as good as the top 4 that are around at the moment, and we've got a way to go to catch them up. But we should be doing better than what we're doing. I mean, 8th place last season, simply not acceptable.
Robbie, you said in an answer a couple of questions ago about a lack of identity. That surely comes down to the manager, doesn't it? And Mikel Arteta's had a decent amount of time in the job now. He can't say that he hasn't been backed in terms of recruitment over the course of this summer. So is the fans' mood at the moment very much that this is the time that Mikel Arteta really has to deliver now?
I think 100%. I mean, there are no more excuses. He's been backed heavily this summer. I think it's £129 million we would have spent now, which, as it stands at the moment, we've spent the most. So he's been backed. Players that he's decided to keep, like Granit Xhaka, those are his decisions. Those are his decisions. Players that will be leaving are his decisions. He's now had, this 2 seasons nearly. There's no more excuses at all for Mikel Arteta. Everything he's doing now is what he's chosen to do. Even when he came in, he was the head coach. He then got promoted to the manager. So these signings, everything is down to him, is down to Edu. It's all on them. So now the honeymoon period for him is well and truly over. The fans are looking at it and saying, right, Mikel, now you've got to produce. You got to get the best out of these players. I really sincerely hope he does. I have to say the jury's out, because, 2 seasons finishing 8th for a club like Arsenal is just not good enough, simply not acceptable to the fans. and we're looking around the team and we're like, all right, yes, there's a way to go, but even with the players that you've got there, we shouldn't be losing to Brentford. So I feel that this is huge for Mikel Arteta. It's a tough start for him. Brentford, Chelsea, Man City is as tough as it gets. It's a really tough start, but it's like with fans, we only put up with things for a certain amount of time, and then, that honeymoon period is well and truly over. We want to see results, and I hope he can do it.
Thank you very much indeed, Robbie. Just one final thing to confirm as well to you watching at home. Arsenal have said that Martin Odegaard will definitely not be available for that game on Sunday against Chelsea, as they await visa clearance before he will be available. But Robbie, you have been available this morning, and thank you very much indeed for being with us.
Thank you.